for the second round of the 2019 season, the entire NASCAR circus stayed in Florida, but instead of Daytona, moved to Sebring International Raceway for this 125-mile sprint, a rough and tumble X-Air base designed to test these cars to the limits. They run 12-hour endurance races here. This time it'll just be a 34-lap sprint to the finish. All the teams did countless hours of testing and practice here. Every single minute of practice was used by just about every team because this is a big unknown. Nobody has been here before. All there's been is tire tests. Nobody knows what's going to happen in this race. Trying to dial in the car setups and the racing lines, how you're going to make overtakes, everything is a major unknown right now for everybody except us. Except us, 78. We have had experience here before with our road course ability, so us with AJ Foyt Racing, we have high expectations for this race. I, John Vining, I'm going to take the wheel for this road course event after my teammate Tim Tinnery did an outstanding job at Daytona, getting P3. I don't know if I can match that, but I'm going to do my best. On the other side of the garage area, Ty Dillon had a massive accident, definitely displeasing his team with this major mistake, although he questioned whether it was a mechanical issue or not, saying it felt like the steering jerked right to him. Glad he's okay. Doesn't bode well for the race, though, which happens now. Let's go live, trackside, for the command to start the engines for the Sebring 125.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
As the drivers begin to file away from the starting grid behind the Dodge Challenger pace car, as you can see here, let's take a brief look at the starting grid for this race. As you can see, we have Kyle Larson on pole position, just barely nabbing it from second place. Kyle Busch in the 18 M&M's Camry. Expect them to have a hard fight in the race, but there is several midfield battles. That is very exciting. What is the 41 of Daniel Suarez going to do? What's Ryan Newman going to do? Both driver transfers, both with unfamiliar teams, having good results, particularly for Newman at Daytona. What's going to happen at Sebring this time? What's going to happen with the 9 car of Chase Elliott, the 2018 Watkins Glen road course winner? What's going to happen with us? I have no idea. We actually had a pretty dismal qualifying. We're all the way down in about 24th, 25th. I just couldn't put the lap together, and it just did not go well. It's very, very difficult here. Every single inch of track you have to use, and if you slip or lock a rear wheel, it absolutely kills you. And the setup I've got I appear to have real major rear wheel locking issues. That's going to have to be something that we will have to watch during the race. That's especially for the tire wear, because we're going to have to go about 17 laps before our first and only tire stop, and that's going to be, oh geez, on a 4-mile track. That's a lot of time to manage on old tires. We have no time to worry about that right now. As you can see, the field is lined up beautifully, a 2x2 fashion. This is what you want to see. 40 professional drivers with amazing machinery prepared to give their all for glory for 125 miles here at Sebring. Kyle Larson is the control car, getting into the starting zone for the race. Plants his right foot, and we are green here at Sebring. Kyle Larson just trailing behind Kyle Busch at the start of the race. So seem to have a bit of an issue. It looks like Kyle Busch is going to take the lead as we go into turn 1, taking the corner very nicely. Kyle Larson is side by side with Martin Truex Jr. as they go down into the second turn, braking hard. It looks like it's going to be Kyle Busch in first. There we are, still in just a complete pack, it must be said. We've got the 14 and Clint Boyer right in front of us. We're trying to make our own little space of track here. What can we do? What can we make happen? Get a little bit sideways on the curb there as we go down one of the many somewhat long straights here. Our Hendrick engine is going to get put to good use today, along with the transmission. It's a high wear track as we make a bold dive down about 4 cars side by side with Newman, but it just isn't going to happen. We had nowhere to go. There was going to be a big wreck if we tried to continue that. Now we are side by side with the previous race winner, the championship leader right now, it must be said. What are we going to do? We're going to make a bold bull dive, a lunge all the way down several cars, side by side with the 21 of Paul Bernard, just about squeezing out Ryan Newman. We have to leave him in the room briefly, and then he decides to back out of it. Very good of him, very gracious here on lap 1. Still all over our back bumper. Nothing really going to happen there. We go all the way to the edge of the track, clipping the grass there. We're going to do that quite a bit this race. As we can see on the helicopter shot, we've got a big run on the 21 of Paul Menard. What are we going to do? We break later than him. Can we make it stick? No, not quite. He's side by side. We make contact with us, pushes him off the track, and we're going to take that position. Thankfully, I don't know where we are. There's just cars absolutely everywhere. Many things are happening, but I've got that bit between my teeth right now, because this is the time to make up positions, make up for my dismal qualifying. You can see this is where we're strong on the track. This last corner, we are way deep on the brakes as we go all the way through the 52 Cody Ware. Just about make a stick, but we run a little bit wide, and now we're side by side, losing the back end a little bit as we get on the throttle, completing lap 1 out. We're still side by side with the 52. Who's going to have the bigger balls? Who's going to break latest? It's going to be us, but he's still side by side with us. We can't quite squeeze him out. A little bit of contact there, still more contact, and he finally backs out of it. That contact pushes us off the track, in fact, and oh, that was very close indeed. We're lucky to have escaped with little to no damage, and our car still pointed in the right direction, actually. And that's not going to go well for Cody Ware. As you can see, he's losing 1 to 2 positions. We're going off track again. Geez, we really need to get our act together there. I can confirm there is more traction on asphalt than grass. Who knew? As we go into the hardest braking zone of the track, there's still side by side several exciting battles. The 14 and Clipboard just about slipping and sliding his way through Ryan Newman in the bright orange 6 Roush Mustang. Still just everybody fighting for position, because these early laps mean more than life itself for positions. As you can see, the 12 versus the 88, Blaney versus Alex Bowman. Who is gonna get this position? Right behind them, Brad Keselowski. He's going to want to slice this action. Him and Kurt Busch, very, very aggressive drivers. You can see us just about still ahead of the 21 of Paul Menard, trying to hunt down that pack in front of us. There's a little bit of a gap right now, but all we can do is go absolutely flat out. As you can see, some lovely shots of all the cars filing through. There we go, just a little bit of a back end sliding around. You can see that the weight really shifting hard in our car. All the teams just absolutely pushing it to the absolute edge, and that's what we have to do to try to get the setup and get the speed. 3 laps in now, Kyle Busch still is your leader, just a brief edge over Kyle Larson and Martin Truex Jr. There we go in 18th position right now, trying to make up positions more, because we have top 10 pace right now. We have top 10 pace, but we are at abysmal track position. But we're going to cut away later to the race. You can see Brad Keselowski, a little bit of a wiggle, along with William Byron, who seemed to follow him into that braking zone. Side by side now with Jimmy Johnson. This is not a place you want to go side by side, but they're going to do it anyways. The Hendrick cars side by side, absolutely wheel to wheel, nothing to give. No love for your teammates right now. It must be said, we go off track yet again, losing the back end, as you can see, but they are still side by side, and Jimmy Johnson finally backs out, and William Byron retains that position. As we can see, we're going to take a replay of what we just did. We made a bold dive on Daniel Suarez. Absolute brilliant move, just about make it stick. He thinks about maybe giving us a touch, but instead leaves us the room. We're going to accelerate hard onto this back straightaway. That's such a good feeling when you get that right. You can plant the throttle and absolutely blast down this straightaway. And this bumper shot will really tell all of how strong we are in the braking zones. Look at that. We just absolutely gain yards on everybody. That's where we're strong. Unfortunately, not much we can do with it. This time, Eric Almirola is going to keep that position, but maybe in a lap or two, we're going to be close enough to make something happen. And you can see it looks like we're starting to get in a little bit of a portion of the race where people are starting to settle down, maybe try to save their tires. We don't have time to do that. We can't just sit and stay single file, try to jump people in the pits. We just have to go for it, because that's all we can do. We're going to go a hell for leather. We're locking rear wheels. We're slipping and sliding, but that's all we can do. Speaking of slipping and sliding, look at that. Between Kurt Busch and Ryan Blaney, very close stuff there. beautiful shot. The car is scything their way through this X airbase and airport. We're still on lap 4 behind Eric Almirola, but we are closer than we were. We're going to stay in the draft, in the slipstream, and let's just see if we can have the overspeed at the end of the straight and brake late as we dare into this braking zone. When is it going to be? How soon do we go? Late, downshift hard on the transmission. Hopefully we don't have any issues later. That was very, very hard on it, but that's the risks we have to take, and we do get the position over the 10 car, of Eric Almirola. The battle with Eric Almirola is still raging, though. He's still all over this. We're gonna have to keep pushing hard to try to get away from him. This shot really shows how we're still struggling with the rear locking. As you can see, we're gonna go in the braking zone. And just about every single time we're leaving tire tracks over our own tire tracks, in fact, and then on the exit planting the throttle, we got a little bit too exuberant. That's not good for our tire wear, but right now our speed is working well. We're starting to close in on Jimmy Johnson a little bit. There we go, in the braking zones again. We are pushing our tires hard, but it is getting us the raw speed that we need right now, pulling away from the Stuart Haas car and towards the Hendrick car. Same engines, different chassis. How's that gonna go? We're gonna find out, because we got a big run now on the back straight going into the final quarter. Once again, we're gonna pull that same trick and make a late lunge on Jimmy Johnson. All put run into the back of William Byron. Do pull it up absolutely perfectly, slide in, but between the two Hendrick cars, get in the draft once again, and that is another spot. Boom, tick. Next. Who's next? William Byron. Let's get around him. Let's get close. We're in the hunt. We're all over him. But it must be said, Jimmy Johnson is all over our back bumper. Nowhere to run, nowhere to breathe. If we make a mistake, we will get bitten. We're going to cut away later on lap 6 now, as we've pulled away from Johnson and still close behind the Hertz Machine 24. William Byron, a big run now as we go through these high-speed double apex left-hander. We're going to run wide, stay to the left, lunge past Byron, and side by side with Alex Bowman. How are we gonna do? Are we gonna pull it up? No, we have to slot in behind Alex Bowman, but we do take at least one position. Hey, I'm an optimistic guy. I'm glass half full. That's fantastic. We're gonna get Alex Bowman soon enough. We just might be able to do it here. In fact, we might be close enough given our braking ability and the way we use the engine braking into this corner. You can see here we use the revs hard, but we are gonna be able to pull it up and get in front of Alex Bowman, giving us yet another position now as we start lap 7. But this battle isn't quite over yet, though. As you can see, we're side by side just a little bit there. Later in the lap, coming out of that hairpin with Alex Bowman. Very strong on the exit of the hairpin is Alex Bowman. Really, the Hendrick cars especially, they definitely have some good traction. And we're starting to suffer a little bit from the tire wear, from how hard we've been pushing our car and our entire drivetrain. Alex Bowman is still all over the back of us. We're trying to pull away, but we make a mistake there. We get hung up on the curb now and run wide, just about barely staying on the track. Now we go off track, actually, spinning the wheels. Lucky to be pointed in the right direction yet again. Ready to go side by side with Alex Bowman through the double apex left. High speed. He backs out of it first after he twitches and wiggles. We're going to retain that spot. Oh, you have to bring the elbows out when you're fighting here at Sebring, because some of these spots is very difficult to overtake. So when you make a move, you have to protect it. You have to fight here in the Premier Series of NASCAR. Just to recap now, we've got Kyle Busch still in first, Truex in second, Larson in third. Then we see the 22, 95, and a very tight string of cars. There we are, starting to build a gap on Alex Bowman, trying to get closer to that pack in front of us. As you can see there, that's what we're chasing after, the white bumper, the 2 car of Brad Keselowski. And over the next few laps, we got closer, just chipping away at till the point now we break very late. It wasn't even trying to make a move, but just out of trying not to run into the back of him, we ended up going on the inside of him. I'm very surprised at how early he braked there. But now that allowed us to get closer, cut that gap down, and now we get a big exit, a fantastic drive onto the back straightaway, getting close, tucking into the slipstream and toe, high into 4th gear, maxing out the RPM, big lunge yet again. just about pulling it up. No, we're side by side, a little bit of a touch. Keselowski getting the elbows out, and he's going to retake that position, in fact. So that move didn't quite work that time. We ended up going just a little bit too far, unfortunately. But it's not over yet. He runs a little bit wide. Well, like we did a few laps ago, we're going to clip the apex, just about stay on the track. Tuck in, use every bit of power that we've got from this Hendrick Motorsports machine, bounce it off the rev limiter a few times, make a bull dive down to the inside. This time, we are gonna, in fact, pull up in front of the Ford Mustang of Brad Keselowski. And let's see if we can retain it just about. Yeah, we're pulling away, and with our braking capability, I think we're gonna be able to hold this position very, very well. And over the next few laps, we just tried to extend that gap a little bit more now. It's on to lap 17, closing in on the 12th car of Ryan Blaney. End up going to the inside like we did to Keselowski just about. He instead does have the better drive on exit, unfortunately, but still is absolutely great to see. Now we're up to P11 after starting in the mid-20s, in fact. That is a fantastic first stint so far. We just need to keep our momentum forward, keep pushing more and more and more. We cannot rest, because we still have cars all over us. And you can see our exuberance. We run a little bit wide there in this very very technical section. Keselowski closing in on us just a little bit. We make another mistake there. We're caught up on the grass. Affects our drive. Keselowski's not going to go side by side with us through the double apex left. We might just be able to retain this position, and we do, in fact, hold P11 over Keselowski, but now it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get Ryan Blaney before our pit stop, unfortunately, but that's okay. Given our tire wear, I would have liked to go maybe a lap or two so I could run fresher tires for the end of this race, but I have to say this is the time to come in. I was really feeling the pressure. Tires had considerable wear. I didn't want to risk the chance of cording or anything like that. So it was best to come in now. As you can see, a couple cars are going to do the same. That is Blaney and my teammate Kurt Busch in front of me. So we're just going to hold it, try just about not speed there. We'll watch our 50-mile-an-hour limit. And let's see how our pit crew can do. The new AJ Foyt Racing team, they've been practicing. Let's see how we're going to do in our second race of the season. No real changes we're going to make for this stop. The car is handling pretty good apart from the brake bias, and that's not something the team can do for me, so I'm just going to have to live with it. Right side tires are going on now. Just about enough fuel to go to the end of this race. And that was a fantastic stop by my team. Great job, boys. Great job. And now you can see we are just about, yes, we are in fact going to jump Ryan Blaney in the pits, and we're close to Kurt Busch. So a great pit sequence for us. Hopefully our out lap will be better than our in lap. We won't make any mistakes and use the fresh tires to our advantage over people like Kyle Larson, who is yet to pit. He's going for the overcut right now, trying to eke out these old tires so we can run fresh tires to the end of the race. On our side of things, we're trying to get closer to Kurt Busch, but we have an absolute disaster. As you can see here, we shift into third gear, and it absolutely breaks. It goes straight to the rev limiter. We have now effectively lost third gear. A big disaster for us, so basically we're going to have to go first, second, and then to fourth, and then fourth to second. It's going to hurt our acceleration badly. As you can see right there, Kurt Busch starts to pull away from us as soon as we shift into fourth gear, so the motor just absolutely bogs, but that's not going to hurt our motivation. We're going to send it down the inside. Absolutely throw the car into the corner. Slide in front of Kurt Busch. We may be teammates, but we are still racers at heart. No quarter shown, no quarter given. We're going to go absolutely just side by side, wheel to wheel. No cares given, because we are here to fight. To fight, and fight on we will. We're now actually just slipping it up the inside very sneakily. Brad Keselowski ended up having to come back on the track, door slamming us a little bit there. Still looks like our car is in pretty good condition, just about avoiding damage. We're going to try to brake late, slide up the inside of Brad Keselowski. We pulled up just about stay within the painted lines. We do gain yet another position. Scored as 27th, but still people are still doing their pit stops, so it looks like that will change soon. We're gonna go down the back straight now, trying to get away from Keselowski and Kurt Busch. Feels like we've been near Keselowski for so long. Just want to try to get away. We're going to go on the outside of Chase Elliott. What a move if we can make this stick. We're going to go side by side with the 9 car, Bright Green Mountain Dew, and we are going to clear him, put him firmly in our rear view mirror. A great move. Unfortunately, our pace is being heavily hampered by the fact that we don't have third gear, because I use third gear just about every single straightaway here, and it's really slowing us down. It's not helping us in the braking zone, because now Chase Elliott is coming back at us down the inside. Keselowski follows him through, makes contact with us, affects our drive, and now we're getting swarmed. We've got our teammate of Kurt Busch behind us, side by side with Kevin Harvick, which is a downward spiral right now. This third gear is really slowing us down. A lot of damage limitation right now, and Kurt Busch is going to go, actually hitting the back of us. Both of us run wide. Kevin Harvick sliding in past us. We are still side by side with him. What on earth just happened to Kurt Busch? It wrecking our race, damaging our back, and hurting our aero. We make contact with Kevin Harvick, just about stay on the track, trying to get past him still. We just about keep going, keeping the forward motion. If we're going to gain back this spot, we have to do it right now. We're not going to be able to make it happen on the big straight because of our third gear issues. We're going to dive down to the inside. It's a bold move. We don't pull up. We're side by side. We're both off track. He's trying to pull back on the track, and he spins us. We're around. We spun. We're going off. We put it in first gear. We're going to get back on track. Amazingly, we don't lose too much time. Oh, we're going to have to look at a replay of that. And here we are now, from what we just saw in the cockpit, on board with us. Kurt Busch just misses his braking zone, nails us in the back, costs us a spot to Harvick. We're now trying to get past him, retake it, because at this point the red mist had descended when I was driving. It was absolute chaos. I was here for pride, for AJ Foyt Racing. I wanted to do good. I make a bold lunge. I tried to keep it on the track, ended up going a little bit wide. I was hoping to gradually ease it to the right, but Harvick said, no, you're done, and just flat out dumped me. In fact, he just straight up dumped me. We had the room to just take the asphalt and get back on the track, but nope, he chose not to do that. That was just crazy. But again, I'm very proud of my personal car control, being able to have the presence of mind, keep the throttle floored, spin it around, put it in first, and keep on going. Yeah, that was just absolute craziness. And speaking of which, it looks like Jimmy Johnson has just exited the pits for a second pit stop. He had some sort of mechanical issue, apparently. This is going to really hurt his race. Okay, it's time. We need to recap what's going on in this race. A lot's happening. So we've got Kyle Busch still in first, building up a bit of a gap to Kyle Larson, who is in second. It looks like these two right now are, in fact, the class of the field, pulling out a bit of an edge over everybody else. It's now behind them. You've got Martin Truex Jr. in third, Joey Logano, the 2018 champion, here in fourth position, Hamlin in fifth, Matt DiBenedetto in sixth. Then it's Chase Elliott, and then it's Brad Keselowski. Oh, this race is just absolute craziness. And right about now is when everybody's really settled into the tire preservation mode. Everybody trying to eke out their tires to the end. It's the two-stop is you do have faster pace, but it doesn't offset the amount of time you lose just sitting in the pits, putting on those fresh radial slick tires. And we're really feeling the pain of running these old tires on since lap 17 and now lap 30. Daniel Suarez has closed the gap, and now we've got a train of cars right behind us. It is a hard defensive battle, and right about now I'm really ruining the decisions I made early on of how hard I was downshifting to make up spots, because now I'm giving the back hand over fist, really hurting me everywhere. You can see just, I'm wheel locking like crazy, and I'm just burning the rear tires off this car. Daniel Suarez going down to the left side of us. On the outside, this very difficult off-camber right-hander. He's on the outside of us. We're going to try and squeeze him out a little bit. There's hard contact, heavy contact between us and Daniel Suarez. We're going to keep it side by side, though. Down the straightaway, we take over the edge. We've got the Hendrick engines showing their horsepower well. We keep the position. That was a crucial move, because I knew if I let him go, then the pack of 5, 6, 7 cars, however many behind us, would just slowly just keep wearing me down. And I want this position for my team. This is only our second race for AJ Foyt Racing. We're representing AJ Foyt. This is a important important race for us psychologically, for the team, and for our competitors, to show we are here not just for midfield, we are here to win races. That is our goal this year, to win races. We're not going to win this one, unfortunately, but we're going to try to do some damage limitation. We've got 88 of Alex Bowman and 41 of Daniel Suarez still side by side with us, with just about a lap and a half to go now in this race. There's just no quarter shown, no quarter given. They're side by side. We're trying to defend from them. There's just absolute scenes as we go now into the hairpin. Alex Bowman taking the position. Now he's going to have a stab at us for our 12th position. How's it gonna go? He closes in the braking zone. We just about control the apex and get the drive out down onto this very twisty but still flat out straightaway if you want to call it. And let me tell you, at this stage of the race, the tires are absolutely destroyed. The car was just walling around all over the place. I had no grip on accelerating or braking. The forward motion was absolutely gone, but that's no excuse. We've got just over a lap now to defend from a train of about 5 cars led by the 88 of Alex Bowman. Now, as we go down through this double apex high-speed section, we still have him in our rearview mirror fair and firmly, doing our best just stay in front. As we see the helicopter shot, the cars are still all over the place, leaving black marks here and there, and even more so as we slip and slide. The car's starting to go off the edge, getting worse and worse exponentially every single corner. But then as soon as we get onto the straight, despite not having a third gear, that Hendrick motor is just carrying us to glory. We use the strong brakes that we have to try to just minimize the damage on the straights as much as possible. Cutting away now to the final lap of the race, and the gap has closed right back down again. Alex Bowman is all over us. He's looking to the inside. Is he going to make a move? No, he thinks better of it. It looks like we're going to hang on to P12 for now, but can we hang on? We get a big slide out of the hairpin, just about able to keep a hold and ahead of this pack of cars. Look at, there's 3, 4, 5, 6 cars all over me. 88, 24, everybody is looking for a move to try to make the way, but I'm keeping a very wide back bumper, trying to take lessons from my hero, the late great Ayrton Senna, in how to defend a race with an inferior car. We're trying to do just that with just a half a lap to go now as we try to hit the apex. Punch on the power, go, 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 get away from these cars, do what we have to do to keep this car in front. You can see we're bobbing and weaving, doing whatever we have to do. We need this spot. We need every single point we can get, because there's only points for the top 20. Speaking of points, look at this. Kyle Larson has reduced the gap to the lead over Kyle Busch, and it's now absolutely nothing as they go into the final corner of the race at Sebring. Larson is looking, he's all over his back bumper, but there's just no way through at this stage. He's not going to get him, and Kyle Busch is going to cross the line to win the Sebring 125, his first win of the 2019 door-to-door season. What a result. And back on our side now, coming out of the penultimate corner, and we still have the lead over Alex Bowman. It's not over yet, though. He's got a bit of a run on us. We're having to break the slipstream. We go all aggressively to the inside of the straightaway, doing what we can. We brake as late as we dare, trying to pull any gap over that we can, and we do so successfully. We pull a couple car leaks as long as we can hang on to it, which we just are able to do. Sideways, four-wheel drifting our way. We're going to come across the line to finish P12 in our first start for this team, scoring points. Absolutely fantastic. And what else is fantastic? Let me tell you what, turn up your music, because the beat on this is sick. Great result for Kyle Busch, getting his first win of the 2019 season and his first win at Sebring, as is everybody. NASCAR is first time there apart from us. Good shout out to Kyle Larson in second, and it must be said, Matt DiBenedetto getting 6th place for the 95 machine. What a result. There you can see Ryan Blaney running out the top 10. There we are in P12. Ryan Newman in the Roush machine getting the final points position in P20. Cody Ware in 19th with the Pro Motors, pulling him to not victory but to P19. Those 2 points are very precious for that team. And now we see the list of people who just ran short. People like Tanner Bearhill, Eric Jones, big disappointment, the Gibbs machine not scoring points. Then all the way down the list, you see Ty Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Jamie Johnson, big names, not scoring any points this race, which is going to really wreak havoc on this table right here. And that is the Drivers' Championship after 2 rounds. Kyle Larson now taking the lead over Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch. Chris Buescher still in 4th position. You can see Tim Tinnery my teammate only ran 1 race, but he's still in 6th. Fantastic result. There you see we are P20 finally on the board, hoping to get some points, but obviously I'm not in the running for the Drivers' Championship. I'm only running half the races along with my teammate Tim. Moving on to the owner's points that you can see come up on your screen right here. We have Joe Gibbs Racing taking the lead over Chip Ganassi, just 41 points behind. Then you have Penske in 3rd, Hendrick Motorsports in 4th, and Roush Fenway rounding out the top 5. You can see there we are in P7, and in my opinion, the top 20 only scoring points will work out in our favor, because let's say Joe Gibbs, all four guys don't score points and we get a top 5. That's a huge point swing. You know, we'll have 1 car, but the 20 car points will really play into our favor, it must be said. A big disappointment right now is Richard Petty Motorsports and Richard Childress Racing, way down the list. We're going to expect them to do better in the future. Moving on to the manufacturer side of the point standings, Chevrolet retaining their strong lead over Ford and Toyota, with Toyota gaining about 10 to 15 points this round. Expect them to be hungry the next few races, still trying to recover after their Daytona woes. And that next race, as you can see, will be next week for the Homestead 125, launching at noon as always. Do enjoy that. Do get subscribed for weekly NR2003 content. This has been Door to Door Race 2. Please make sure you like and subscribe to help make content like this possible. You can follow us on Instagram for more behind the scenes action. As always, I'm Apex Hunter. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will catch you guys next time. Take care. Bye bye.